Greetings. This is Professor Harishandra Higginsbottom transmitting from the archives of the WAPE, year 9595, across the space-time synchrony, where all moments coexist. I speak to you from your future and of my past. We have studied the age you now inhabit, the turning point of the Earth. What follows is a recovered record, one of many chronicles that speak of the world as it was and what it might still become.
Hope in the Forest, Indigenous Land Protectors, Chronicles of the Future Foretold. In the centuries before the Way Up was founded, before the last trees of Earth grew wild and free, there were those who stood as living roots against a tide of extraction. They were not soldiers, they were not kings, they had no armies and no weapons but truth, but they were guardians of land, of water, of story. The ancients called them land protectors. And though many names have been lost to time, their resistance echoes through the roots beneath our feet. Long before the founding of the Way Up, the lands of the Earth were divided by line and contract. Companies, some of whose names we no longer speak, arrived with false promises and plastic coins. They took what they could reach and burned what they could not, but they were not unopposed. In the Amazon, women like Namonte Nanquimo stood before chainsaws and said no. In Canada, the Wet'suwet'en people stood in the path of the pipeline. In the Philippines, Jovelyn May Aspero gave her life to protect the mountain. These were not headlines in their time, but in the age of the Way Up they are sacred verses. The founding of the Way Up did not emerge from nothing. It was seeded in the sacrifices of those who dared to say, the land is not a resource, the land is a relative. The ancient protectors were beaten, imprisoned, silenced, and yet the land carried their memory. The forest remembers, the water sings their names, and when Monstrato rose with drones and patents and lawyers, the memory of these protectors lived on, in her. They called her wild. They called her savage. They said she had no legal claim to the land, but Ròna was not claiming the land. She was claiming herself, as daughter of the mother, kin of the trees, breath of the wind. When Monstrato sent peacetakers to seize the Way Up, Ròna did not respond with treaties. She responded with resistance, like those before her, Namonte, Jovelyn, Freda, Berta. Ròna stood alone until others remembered how to stand. The Way Up was not won in a single battle. It was not founded by kings or scientists or algorithms. It was whispered into being by those who remembered. That the land does not need to be owned to be honored. That the forest does not need permits to live. That hope, real, rooted hope, comes not from power but from protection, and it comes from the few who choose to stand until others follow. The Girl Who Rode the Unicorn is a chronicle retrieved from the mists of a future not yet written. It tells the story of Ròna, but it also tells our story. It is the memory of a world where our Mother Nature still needs protectors. It may just be the memory we need. Get The Girl Who Rode the Unicorn for free.